Hey, girly, how are you? Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
How's everything?
Everything is good.
Are we counting down the days?
I'm miserable.
Well, you know,
Counting down the days
this
already.
is what happens when you have too much fun having sex.
Yes,
Hence, you
absolutely.
get pregnant. You aren't planning it, but
So,
God does not give you what you can't handle.
no,
That's
no,
all I
no,
can
that's
tell you.
100% true. So
Yeah.
it's funny because I was like, you know what? I can't wait until I give birth to this baby and have sex again. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, I can't have sex right away
Nope.
because then I'll pop out another one. And
Yep.
I'm like, no, we can't have
Unless
this.
you tie your tubes,
Yeah, no, no,
obviously.
no, we're not doing that right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so it's I'm done, I'm tired, I'm miserable, I'm counting down the days, they're going by very slowly.
Yep. Those
And
last few days feel like months.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
this baby's very comfortable in there,
Yeah.
like very comfortable.
She's like, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm staying.
I'm still here,
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm
Yes.
chilling. I'm comfortable.
So
That's awesome.
looking forward again, I think I look forward to all of our topics, especially this season, because it's all about my favorite topic, which is sex. And we've had the past 2 weeks, right? We started
Yeah.
recording again, and we've spoken about sex on your period. We've spoken about sex toys and going to a sex store with your partner and exploring so many other things. So, what juicy topic do we have for today?
So today, I think that we should talk about sexual fantasies
Mhm.
and what we think sexual fantasies mean. And obviously, everyone has them. That subject is kind of very taboo because obviously you don't know
For
how
who?
for other people, not for us.
You mean females?
Female, and males too, girl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and males too, because they feel that, oh, if I let them in on my fantasies or tell them,
They're gonna think
they're gonna think
I'm
I
not
want to
happy.
cheat. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
happy.
yeah, yeah. You're
I'm
right.
bored. So both ways, it goes
Got
both
it.
ways. Sexual fantasies is a very tricky subject when with couples. So sexual fantasies is a very broad topic,
Hmm.
but let's go into it. So what exactly is a sexual fantasy? So, a sexual fantasy is a desire, right? Or a thought that you have of a desire, right? So, you can have, okay, so this is what I was thinking.
I'm gonna Google this while you're talking. What is a sexual fantasy?
Google away, my love. Google away. Guys, this is impromptu, this is how we roll. So, I think that a sexual fantasy is an idea of something you would like to try, obviously having to do with sex, intercourse, or all aspects of it, right? Fantasies are not always the actual act of having sex.
Mhm.
Sometimes it might be watching people having sex, right?
Voyeurism, yes.
Right. So I think that, like I said a little while ago, it can get you in trouble. But I think that, again, like we mentioned in our last show, having communication is key with your partner, and letting them know what you like and don't like is part of the whole fantasy topic, right? If they want to be part of it, remember we were talking about like the whole sex toys
Yes.
and the anal, the butt plugs and the this and that. So I think that letting them in on what you're curious, about is going to open up the doors to those fantasies, right? So I'm going to give you an example of one of my fantasies.
And can fantasies be repeated? Meaning that can it always be a sexual fantasy? Like, hey, this is my sexual fantasy. Like for instance, I've met people where married couples where the husband likes his wife while they're having sex to say other men's names all the time. That's his fantasy. That's how he gets off.
Okay.
It is what it is, right? So
Right.
a sexual
And
fantasy,
as odd as
can
it might
be-
seem,
it works
is
for
what
them.
works, right? Right.
So at the end of the day, a sexual fantasy can also be something that you repeat. It doesn't have to happen just once.
Absolutely. It doesn't happen just once. It could be it could be the theme of your
Correct.
sexual encounter with your partner. Again, it could be just that one vibe that you like. And,
Yes.
and like you just said, it can be repeated. It can be recreated in different ways,
Different
or
scenarios,
formats,
yep.
and make it just as interesting. So, so on my talk, speaking of myself, one of my sexual fantasies was to see people having sex in front of me, watching live sex. Obviously, I had seen porn. Who hasn't, right? I shouldn't generalize. I'm sure some people don't like to watch it.
Well, some people think that watching porn is a form of cheating, and therefore it is taboo, and their husbands or wives cannot watch porn, because if they do, it is. Oh, and it's a mental disease, by the way, too.
Oh God.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, I beg to differ, but that's a whole other topic. But anyway, so that was one of my fantasies. So when I was younger and on my previous marriage, it was one of the reasons what took us to Amsterdam was because of that, because I had read so many books and educated myself on the fact that there were live sex shows there. I knew, and I had read about,
and they're very open to it.
Very, very open. That for them is completely normal. So I was, to say the least, I was dying to go there and experience that. So, let's go back, 25 years ago, right? We get to Europe. We do our, one of our trips, and we get to Amsterdam. Very interestingly, there was a leather, like a leather, how we have the home show and the boat show?
Yeah.
They had a leather like
show.
An S&M convention.
They have that here in Miami too, a lot of the time.
Okay, but they specifically had one that they do, I don't know, once every whatever year, like something, super popular. Of course, I had no idea about this situation, but when I get there, this is what's happening, right? There's a convention of sex, leather, whatever. And I was like, oh, great. It's like the world knew, right? So
You're coming
I was
there.
magnetized. I'm coming there, and this is what's happening. So we get there. It was very hard for us to find a hotel. And we were staying in hostels because during this time, I was 25 years old. I was backpacking. So that was quite interesting all on its own. And we met very interesting people along the way. But we stumbled upon, we went to a bar.
Yeah.
And we asked around about what they thought was the best sex show, live sex show. And they guided us to this one place. There were a bunch. They had them everywhere, and of course, their prostitution is legal.
Yes.
So you walk out down the street in the red light district, and you see the girls naked in the window, and you're just like window shopping.
Yeah.
And you're looking at all the beautiful women and all kinds. I mean, literally blonde, brunette, black, white. I mean, just every type of woman and body type that you can imagine. So I'm watching all of this, and I'm just like, wow, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is so interesting, So finally we get to the place, and the guys, kind of telling us it's a tiny little door, like with two French doors, kind of wooden, and they're opened, and they have pictures of the couples, like not full blown having sex, but in positions and stuff like that, kind of like an ad, right?
Correct.
And I'm like, wow, this is actually happening. And I in my mind, I would never have fathomed that it would look like that.
Yeah.
Never, We go inside, there's like a waiting room. There's like pews like in church. It's so fucking funny, but that's how it was. So we're sitting there waiting for them to finish the act, because it's by acts.
Correct.
So we couldn't walk in when they were in the act. When it finished, then we were allowed in, and then we could get a drink there, or we could get a drink right inside, and then go in and sit down. So this is, picture an arena. It's like a miniature size arena, a stage, and then it's like a U-shaped, with like, I don't know, maybe 20 rows.
Yeah.
Right? And you're sitting there, and then they start their skit. Some of them, they just played music, and they really didn't talk, and others, they talked. It was like a full-blown, like watching a porn, but live.
But live, yes.
Yeah. So I was like blown away. It was the best experience, or one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. My ex-husband was because he's boring like that, but I was in awe. It was so awesome. It was exciting, and it was exhilarating. I was just like, okay, of course you're horny while you get there. Of
course.
When you're there, but you're just like,
You're in that moment.
Oh my God. And then of course you look around the room and it's interesting to look at other people's reaction, their faces, their body language. Are they touching each other? Like, it was awesome. I was like, I want to do this again.
I'm going to Amsterdam.
Yeah. And then of course he was like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
You know, how odd is that? Like, for a couple to be there, he was just kind of like enjoying it, of course, but it was just not his thing, you know?
Do you think it would have been his thing if he was there with some buddies, like watching other people having sex while he's there with his male friends?
I don't know. Maybe because he would have been a little bit more comfortable talking about it, or what was going on, you know? I did notice that all the acts were only men and women. They didn't have like woman on woman or men on men. They
well, 20-something years ago, it's also very different.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So we have to take that into consideration.
But it was great. It was awesome.
I love that for you.
You could smell. The smell was just particular. It didn't have, like, it wasn't a bad smell, but it was kind of like a sex smell.
Yeah.
And the all the sounds.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. And then one of the acts, which was quite interesting. I'm sorry, Gigi. I'm kind of taking a fork today.
Don't worry.
One of the acts was a girl by herself. And she just kind of penetrated herself with different items. It was so funny because she did...
Items as in items or sex toys?
No, items.
Okay.
Yes, items. So one of them, she did a candle, a lit candle.
Okay.
And she danced with the lit candle coming out of her vagina.
All righty.
I was like, wow, she's talented. Yeah, I like her. And at the end, of course, she got into this position where she like blew out the candle.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's going to stay in my mind
forever.
That
is crazy.
That was quite interesting. But yeah,
I wonder what you would see now when you go there, right?
Yeah.
I wonder, what kind of acts are there? I wonder if they look a little bit more real. I wonder if now people are engaging as the viewers, right? Watching this, right? Because there's so many things that can happen in 20-something years, right? A lot of changes,
right?
A lot of things that you can't do, or now it's more open to doing. Do they offer the lesbians now, or the gay guys? You know? So all of those things. So when you go back there again, you'll get to notice, and then we can talk about it.
I'm definitely looking forward to that because I know it'll be a totally different experience with my partner now. But yeah, that was quite interesting. It was very enjoyable, and it was great. It was awesome.
And it's something that you wanted to experience, right?
Yeah.
And
definitely my bucket list, and it got a big check mark next to it.
Correct. And it doesn't mean that you go to Amsterdam every single year, right? So it's like, you did it one time and you're like, listen, I have a new partner. I would like to experience this again with them now because they haven't experienced it. So how nice would that be? And I think that people have this thought in their head that when we want something, when it's a sexual fantasy, we want it all the time, every day, every moment.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with that.
Absolutely. This is why I wanted to actually bring that up.
Yeah.
Because that was a fantasy and it had nothing to do with me directly.
Correct.
Right?
And
so
it had nothing and I'm sure that it had nothing to do with your partner, your ex-partner not being able to please you.
No, not at
that
all.
Moment,
not at all. Not at all. But yeah, that was actually, it was great. And the fact that it was not even, touching my body or having anything to do with me was more mind-blowing, actually.
Yeah. Cool. I love that.
Yeah, because it was a fantasy, but it was more mental, and it wasn't physical, but it was emotional.
It's fulfilling.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. And of course, that's just one of my fantasies. I've had many, and I've been able to, accomplish quite a few of them throughout my life. But I feel that you need to do those things, because I feel that if you don't, that question mark stays there in your head. And you're wondering, what if I would have done this? What if I would have tried this? What if if you did it, what if I hadn't?
Correct.
Would my life be different if I hadn't? So I think that that's important. And I do believe both men and women, and obviously I assume that most of our listeners are women, and I feel that men should tap in because they'll learn quite a few things. And hopefully we can expand our listeners, our following base and our listening base. As these things get out there and we give our experiences to other people, and they know that it's okay to think certain ways and feel certain ways and not be afraid to.
Correct.
To
like if people know you and I, right?
Yeah.
You're a professional. I'm a professional.
Yep.
I'm a mom of almost 2 kids now. Partnered up. You're married. You have 3 kids. You're a family woman, right?
Correct.
You have a decent job. You're not a prostitute.
Nope.
You know, and I'm not saying that being a prostitute is not decent.
It's not a bad thing.
You know, it is what it is.
We're not going to knock it.
Okay?
We're not going to knock it.
You do whatever you need to do.
Yep.
But when someone looks at you and they're like, oh my God, there's this side to Nikki. Well, yeah, there's this side to everyone.
Correct.
Except that Nikki and Gigi are okay with just talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to judge me, then go ahead and judge me. You know, I'm still going to talk about it.
Exactly.
And it doesn't make me any less of a woman,
right?
Any less of a mother, any less of a professional individual. It doesn't make me unprofessional.
Right.
It doesn't make me a bad friend.
You loved me before you knew this about me.
Correct.
So now that you know this, do you love me more? Do you love me less?
Who cares?
Are you judging me? At the end of the day, listen, like my pastor says, no one can judge you.
Yeah.
The only one that can judge you is Jesus.
That
right?
is correct.
Or God, right? So you have to stay firm and confident with yourself, your choices, your decisions. And as long as you don't hurt someone, you don't hurt yourself or hurt another person, you know, I don't see why you can't explore your feelings, your
thoughts.
Yeah. You know, just I don't understand why people shy away from them. You know,
I don't know either. At least that's not my problem.
Yes.
You know.
So what else are we going to tap into? There was something else that we wanted to talk about that we mentioned.
But wait, I have to talk about my fantasy.
Oh yes, I'm sorry.
Hello.
I was just about to blow right through yours.
Jesus.
Sorry,
okay,
sorry, Gigi. I'm so selfish. Oh my God. Oh my God. Go. Continue. Sorry, dear.
So I've had a lot of fantasies. I've explored a lot of my fantasies too. There are some still that are there that I think that one day we'll get to. So I've done the threesomes, I've done the foursomes, I've done the orgies, I've done the voyeurisms, I've watched people having sex. I explored with other instruments, as we call them, or whatever.
Other objects.
Let's see. I've watched my partners have sex as well, and they're all up there. And those are things that I've wanted throughout my period of years, right? And depending on the partner that you have, your sexual fantasy changes, because there's just something intriguing about the individual that you're like, I wonder what it would be like if we can do this together. Right. It may not be the same sexual fantasy that I might have had with another partner.
Right.
It's just very different.
It could change depending the person.
Correct.
Right.
So I've explored a lot of those parts. Still, one of my favorite, and I still call it fantasy because even though I've explored it, I'm always willing to explore it differently. I'm into very much voyeurism. That is my thing. Everybody knows that I love talking about sex and I love watching people have sex, right? So because of that, I explore in that and I'm like, oh, I wonder what it would be like if I'm just having like a nice dinner with my partner, right? With Sergio. And we're like in this nice romantic dinner sitting at a bar. And there's just 2 people in the bar, like on the bar stool, whatever you call it, the table, the countertop, whatever, just having sex. And this is what this place is all about. They serve you a nice meal, great steak, great wine, you know, great, amazing service. And while I'm eating, I'm just watching 2 individuals having sex, whether they're lesbians or whether it's a straight
couple.
It doesn't matter to me. And that's like, I think that is a little bit harder to find because I don't think that there's an open space for that.
Right. Especially not here in Florida.
Correct. I don't think that exists. It may exist if you go to like a private party, you know.
Or a private club. I'm sure
well,
they have.
Private clubs don't have that.
I don't think they have it at Miami Velvet. Have you been?
I have not been to Miami Velvet, but I've been to Trap. Trap. And then the
Trap is Trap is just a strip club. You're talking about booby
trapeze?
Trap?
No, not booby trap.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No.
What is trapeze?
It's a adult club like that. It's not a strip club. It's a sex club.
Here?
It's in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of it.
Okay.
Shit, you see that? I just learned something new.
Have you heard of Deanie's Hideaway?
I've heard of it.
It closed down though.
Okay.
It's no longer here.
Okay.
Maybe they were offering that. I don't know.
Maybe that was on the menu and you just didn't read it.
I just didn't read it at that time.
That's funny.
But no.
So I don't know about Trap. Tell me a little bit about this Trap place.
So the Trap,
Fort Lauderdale.
It's in Fort Lauderdale. It doesn't look as nice probably as the Velvet place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I would say it's a little bit more low key. You go in, it looks like a club. You're going dancing, and they have the bartenders and the bars there and things like that, and food, obviously, right? But then once you go into the other side to it, that you walk in and you get your lockers and change your clothes or whatnot, you have this other spectrum, other rooms, private rooms where you can, be with other couples, or other rooms where you're just going to go in and watch, right? But it's not what I'm looking for. It's not like I want to sit down and have this beautiful meal.
You want it to be more sensual.
It has to be more classy,
more prepared, more classy.
Yes.
This is more like a private room. You either watch them or
I may just have to hire everyone.
Right.
There.
Right. Yeah, it's a different vibe. I get
correct.
You. I get
it is
you.
a more classier approach to it, more sensual.
I get you.
More intimate. Right. Versus just, I'm going to go watch everybody else have sex. Right. And we're going to go share this humongous bed together, or whatever the case may be. So nonetheless, though, that's one of my fantasies. So it goes under voyeurism, even though I've done that already and I've watched other people, but I try to tweak it. And haven't done that yet because I haven't found either the right place, obviously. So that hasn't happened. But I'm all for sexual fantasies. I'm all for people exploring that and talking about it. There shouldn't be any taboo on that because it doesn't define who you are. It's just according to ChatGPT. What did ChatGPT tell me about? A sexual fantasy is a mental image or a thought that is sexually arousing. So therefore, if I never have that fantasy fulfilled, right? It's not going to affect me with my partner, with Sergio, right?
Right.
It's not going to be like, oh my God, he doesn't love me. Oh my God, I'm unhappy in my marriage, in my relationship. Oh my God, who am I? Right?
Right.
It doesn't. Just the thought of it arouses me. Would I like to bring it to life? Absolutely, right? Because it will fulfill my mental stimulation.
Correct.
But I don't need it in order to be happy.
Right.
So
yeah, as long as you know how to differentiate that.
Yeah.
I think that's the danger when it comes to fantasies, right? Being able to think it, want it, but not need it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Think it, want it, but not need it. And I think that control comes with maturity.
Of course.
It comes with being open, I hate to keep repeating it, having communication, because being monogamous and staying in a partnership, relationship, and not being honest and exploring what you like or what you need, that's what starts to cause, doubt, frustration, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that just, and of course you're going to find, like you said, haven't found the place, to kind of adapt to what you're thinking. So it just keeps getting put in the back burner, but it's not affecting your everyday life. Your customs and your routine, right?
It's not like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not getting this.
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly. So
you know what I can't believe? I cannot believe that there's people there there's women who are wanting happy endings when they get their massages done, and there's nobody that provide
you're right.
happy endings.
Why can women not get happy endings?
That I can't believe. And I think that is the most normal thing ever, because if a guy can go in and get a massage and then
get a blowjob
or a hand job and climax and fully relax, right? Why can't it be done for us? And how come that's a very
good question. That is a very good question. But you know what? That's going to lead us into our episode for next week. Hopefully, if baby number 2 is not here.
Or you can just come to the hospital and we'll record there.
Tuesday. Next week, Thursday. Next week is voting. We're gonna know our next president next week.
Yeah, but we're not talking about
Who cares about that, right? Okay,
yeah,
fuck it.
Sorry.
Okay, I was just totally sidetracked there.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm thinking the calendar. I know the calendar in my head.
Yes.
So next week, Thursday, will be our next episode. That's going to lead us into our next episode so that we don't, kill people with this. But happy endings. I was going to say, I totally lost my track of thought. Fuck me. It was, You're like, okay, the guy can get the oh, yes. So why is it? Yes, you see that? I went all the way around. I went to voting, to next week, next episode. Why is it that we cannot get
there's no.
Oh, I know what it was that I was gonna say. Shit, I know what it was. Because a lot of men don't know how to get the woman to have an orgasm. Have you had sex, oral sex? Had a man had oral sex with you that cannot make you come?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some men they don't know. They don't know our anatomy.
And it's not Sergio, guys, by the way.
FYI.
Just FYI.
FYI. But that's a good one to lead into next week.
I like that.
We cannot have a happy endings. They can. We can't.
But our happy endings won't come with oral sex. It's masturbation, like they masturbate you.
Won't do it. But what if you have those men that are super rough and they can't get to the fucking have an orgasm?
Why are we just talking about? You're assuming that we're looking for a massage from a male to get a happy ending.
Okay, if it's a woman, that's different. Okay. Why are they not doing it?
I don't fucking know. That's the problem.
Well, we need to find out. Who are we talking to? The Better Business Bureau. Let's write an email to the BBB.
Let's see what's happening here.
Why are men getting happy endings and we aren't?
You see, that's
I demand an answer.
We're going to get an answer next week.
We're going to get an answer, guys.
We're going to figure this out. And I'm going to watch that show on Netflix to see what it's all about.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, happy Halloween. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Enjoy your children. Stay safe. Don't eat so much candy. We love you.
It's gonna be
bye, girl.
Bye.